Hello, everyone. My name is Kristen Krambeer, Advocacy Program Coordinator for the ARC of Iowa and its chapters. Thank you for joining me for Let's Chat, where I have short conversations with professionals and experts in their field. We are having this conversation today to support individuals diagnosed with a disability, their caregivers, and our community. I'm honored today to be joined by Iowa Secretary of State Paul Pate to discuss Iowa Businesses Against Trafficking, also known as IBAT. Secretary Pate, thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure, and I want to thank ARC for being a member of our efforts to combat human trafficking in Iowa.
Yes, we are honored to do so. So for those who are unfamiliar with your initiative, what is Iowa Businesses Against Trafficking?
This is an effort our office launched a little over 2 years ago to encourage businesses in Iowa to step up and learn more about both sex trafficking and illegal labor trafficking, and then to do something about it. And we lay out a game plan for that as to how those businesses or organizations can be a part of it here in Iowa.
Wonderful. Why is human trafficking an issue in our state, and what are some of the current statistics?
Well, it's very unfortunate that we have this issue, and frankly, it's one of those things that has slipped between the cracks because it gets masked under other crimes and other situations in our society. It's important to Iowa because we want to think that our state and feel that our state is a safe, endearing place for people to want to be a part of, to raise families, and to live in. And what we have found is we have these individuals who have been taken advantage of and are put in a very poor situation. And because of the nature of how this crime works, it's not always easy to see. And our crime statistics, for an example, are difficult to navigate through because they can be sometimes looked at as it's prostitution, or they'll see it as drug-related crimes or some other violent crime. And when the root of it, the problem with it, was these people were manipulated and put into a bad situation of being trafficked, either again as sex trafficking or as in labor. And the labor side is a whole nother discussion.
Yes, absolutely. As a Secretary of State, why are you personally taking human trafficking so seriously?
Well, it's a personal passion. When I came back into this position, we had then launched an initiative called Safe at Home, which it deals with offering a legal substitute address for victims of domestic violence or sexual crimes, to allow them to come in from the dark shadows into the light and be active in their community again by protecting their home address from bad actors. And it fell into our office because of voter registration. Voter registration is a public information. So when you register to vote, it is accessible online. And I didn't think that was appropriate, that bad actors can find their victims by going to this source. And so we put this program together. It was passed unanimously by the legislature, in which our office coordinates this program, where their mail comes through our office and we forward it to a separate address. And it's just, again, it's a tool to allow these folks to resume a normal life. Now, what we learned from that was we found we have people in our program who are also victims of human trafficking. And that was alarming. But more importantly, I had the opportunity to sit through a session, if you will, or a workshop in Cedar Rapids with Chains Interrupted, where they were pointing out the trafficking problems in Cedar Rapids. And for me, it was a very personal issue because I was a former mayor there. And I'm sitting there going, wait a minute now. I feel pretty good about my town. That's where I live. I raised my family. And they're sharing this information with me. It was very, very alarming. We sometimes stereotype on the sex trafficking, we stereotype it as, oh, it's that massage parlor. No, it's far more complicated than that. And as they shared that information with me, I went back to the Capitol that day and kept thinking about, well, we can do more. And for me, it was very simple. We have over 250,000 businesses who work through my office on a regular basis. And I felt that there's a base that we can build out to create a choir, if you will, to be able to combat this situation. And so we said, let's reach out to them. So we worked with some of the state advocates and national advocates who are combating this issue on a daily basis, and developed a program to recruit businesses and organizations to help us in getting that message out and to raise awareness. And that's where we launched it. And we're now over 1,700 businesses and organizations. Sorry, 700. I was getting my safe at home numbers mixed up. We have over 700 businesses in the program right now, but they represent several 100,000 employees. And that to me is a great starting point, and I'm very glad we can be a part of it.
Well, and I appreciate you being so passionate about that, particularly for an organization that we support vulnerable populations and really making sure that that message is out there. ibat's commitment is learn something, do something. What does that mean?
Well, we wanted to keep it simple enough that even a small business who doesn't have a lot of HR people, human resource people, could pick this up and do something with it and be productive. And at the same time, we want to make sure it had some meat in it, that we were getting a result. So we basically laid it out for them and said, look, we're going to give you a full menu. We set up a website with a lot of resources available to them. And we put out a regular newsletter with examples of what other businesses might be doing and suggestions, and try to connect them up with these advocates as well. And in doing so, we ask the businesses to choose some of these activities that they might take on. And many of them are doing different things. They're doing everything from, we have one large distributor who has put on their semi trucks, the toll-free number, if you will, the hotline number for people who want to get help on human trafficking. We've had others who have helped put the little stickers that we've provided through one of our advocates that says, if you're in need of help, call this number. And those are in the restrooms of a significant number of businesses across the state. And that is a positive step. We've worked with our own DOT to put things at the rest stops to, again, offer people an outlet for help. We work with community events like the festivals, and they have trained their people on what to look for and what to do when they see these kind of signs of trafficking. And they have, again, put stickers in the restrooms. It's a lot of little things, but they add up. And some of the employers have stepped up even more aggressively, and they've hosted workshops and they do employee orientation meetings where they talk to them about what this is all about to spread the word. Others are reaching out to their customers or their vendors to let them know about it as well. So it's truly building it up from grassroots.
Why should Iowans care about human trafficking? So someone's not involved currently with ibat, the average person living in urban or rural Iowa, wherever they may be, why is it important for them to care?
Well, there's several good reasons. I'll start with the most practical, and that is, this is your community. You want to feel safe here. And it's not enough to be just, I'm safe. Your neighbor needs to be safe. And the people you work with and the people your kids go to school with, they all need to be safe. And that's, to me, the first part of this. The other part of it is, if you look at what we're doing here, is we're trying to be more than just good neighbors. We want to make sure that our communities can really be the place that people want to come and live and be a part of. We talk about quality of life, and this is a big step towards that. And I have to be very forthcoming in saying, I couldn't sleep at night if I thought somebody just down the street from me or next door was being manipulated by these bad actors. And this is a very complicated situation. I mean, I could spend hours, and I don't know, we don't have that much time today, but these victims are not the stereotype that you see in Hollywood. It's not where a black van pulls up, jumps out, grabs somebody and puts them in the van and hauls them away. That probably happens in places, don't get me wrong, but the majority of them are people who have been manipulated through social media, that have been groomed and convinced that I'm your friend, and perhaps your family is not the person that they should be for you, so we're better. And they pull them into this world, and it's hard for them to get out. And there are others who have self-esteem issues. There's some other emotional challenges. There are others who are coming out of bad situations, bad home lives. And sadly, there are those who are actually second-generation trafficked. Literally, their parents were trafficked, and they just continue on that path. These are all sad commentaries, but if we don't educate and bring the public into the game and make them more aware of it, I don't see how we can conquer it. And I think that's what we're doing right now with ibat.
So for businesses, nonprofits, any other organization, and however they identify, how can they get involved with IBAT?
Well, we encourage them to go to our website. I think that's a big step. It's ibat.iowa.gov, and they can get more information. They can also look at our Safe at Home program, which is safeathome.iowa.gov. I think that will give them a starting point to go forward. We give them a lot of resources on those websites and a lot of information. And a lot of the advocates are available to do presentations for organizations and businesses. We do that on a regular basis. We're very pleased to be partnered with a lot of these great groups, including Rotary International. Here in Iowa, one of our local chapters started the drive to make it Rotary International's not only their state issue, but also their national and international issues on human trafficking, because this is not something that's just isolated to Iowa or the United States. It's worldwide. And it's something we all want to be doing something about to try to eliminate it.
If someone's currently experiencing human trafficking in Iowa right now, this week they get to watch this video, what can they do to get help?
Well, they can text help, which is 233-733. They could go to our toll-free number, which is 888-373-7888. That's an immediate one. But if they're in physical situation where they need help, 911 immediately, please. Let's get you out of the bad scene that you're in, and then we can help with you, because there are a lot of good advocates who can help with housing, with some counseling, helping you deal with how you can readjust and get back into the mainstream, if you will, of society. We recognize those are all challenges. And we want to make sure we can line them up with those kind of resources. And I'll be very clear about this. Our office doesn't claim to be the expert on human trafficking, and we're not the advocate. We're a facilitator. We're trying to raise awareness. So our staff is very good about directing you to those specialists, because we want to make sure you get the best to get you through this situation.
Absolutely. Secretary Pate, again, thank you for talking with me today.
Appreciate your time.
Yes, for those interested in learning more about Iowa Businesses Against Trafficking, visit ibat.iowa.gov. I hope you all have the opportunity to reach your full potential today. I look forward to our next chat.